everyone, welcome to The Buzz. I am here speaking with Big Steve on his brand new book. I want to say congratulations. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you, thank you.
First of all, how are you feeling? And also, I'm curious to know, everybody always mentions that they're looking at making their life a reality show, or, they always are like, oh, I want to go and I want to write a book, but you really did that. Talk to me about this process and what the decision was like for you, making the decision to write this book.
Well, I filmed my first TV show, and as I was getting notoriety from the social media, I got a lot of advice to share my story from Orphan to Millionaire. And to be honest with you, at first I really didn't want to do anything because it was just private to me. And then I would really started thinking about that if my story touched at least one person's life, it would make me feel good inside. And that's what really made, the decision for me to write the book.
I love that. I love the idea of sharing your story in order to help others. I think that's the best way for us to be able to give back and to be able to make art. And look at you. That's great.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you processed the death of your parents and what that looked like for you, that journey for you. I know that they died at a very young age for you.
Yeah, they were killed in front of me. How I processed it, to be honest with you, as a young boy, I retaliated and I acted out. I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. So I did stupid things, stealing cars, stealing from stores, just giving my parents grief. And it wasn't until I was around 18, 20, 21 that I began to really understand how to deal with the emotions and the trauma that I went through. But growing up, I went through, counseling, and to this day, I still, see, counseling, and it's a life-going process. It's not something that you just take a pill, you see a doctor, and you fix overnight. It's a life-going process.
Yeah, I love that you're obviously still working on it and being, like you said, involved with the counselor and everything like that.
Of
I think
course.
That's super important
Yes.
and very healthy on your end as well.
Yes.
I'm curious to ask you, after being adopted, what did that look like culturally, and how did that shift even, how did that impact you? Because that's that's something that I feel like we don't hear a lot about, is the adoption process.
Yeah.
And how that affects anything.
So the adoption process was actually a long process. It was well over 6 months through paperwork, because my parents were originally from Connecticut and I was in the orphanage in Cali, Colombia. So there was a lot of bureaucracy as far as paperwork, background checks on my mother and father, as far as work, criminal records, where they live, what they did for work. So that was a long process as far as paperwork is concerned. And then the process as far as me being adopted and changing a new environment, it was scary, it was terrifying, but I learned I was resilient and I didn't give up. But I made things, easier. I became the kid that would make jokes because I knew what pain and terror was inside. So I didn't want anyone else to feel that way. So that's how I sort of coped with it until I was more comfortable with it. Okay, I'm in a new environment. My skin color is different. I'm learning how to speak, English. I'm getting acclimated to a new country, new home, new family. So that's how I did everything all in one.
I think a lot of people use humor as a coping mechanism.
Yes.
And I think that it's exactly what it is. It's a coping mechanism. But at least you were able to, in some way, I guess, trying to find the bright side of that, identify that obviously humor was a tool for you that you could use temporarily until obviously getting that future help later on down the road to really reconcile with the pain that you were enduring.
Well, I did that when I was younger. And then as I got older, how I dealt with the pain is I started really getting into business and taking business seriously. About 13, 14, 15, that's when I started, asking a lot of questions to my parents, and then getting into the stock market at the age of 15.
Wow.
And then planning my future.
Wow.
So that's how I really used it. So I just shifted where I put my energy instead of making people laugh and doing certain things. I'm still a jokester right now, but it's at a different level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I geared my focus and my energy towards the business aspect of things in my life.
For sure. With your book, From Orphan to Millionaire, what is it that you are hoping that people really resonate with and connect? I know you're looking to make an impact just by sharing your story, but if a reader were to pick up that book, what are you really hoping that people walk away and really talk about?
The one thing that I would like people to take away from it is that at any point in your life, whether it's a financial hardship, emotional hardship, family hardship, any hardship, that with hope and perseverance and hard work, you can and will win. I'm a prime example of that. There has been many nights that I cried, asked God for help, and all he did was make me strong. And I work like a mother. You know what I mean? Like a chip on my shoulder. And that's what I hope anyone and everyone takes away from this book, and or share their story so other people can learn and become the best versions of themselves.
Definitely. I want to touch base. You have a TV series called Single Fathers. Talk to me about this project, how this came to be, and what it's like for you, obviously having this under your belt.
Yeah. So I was in the nightclub industry for about 8 years, and on my way out of the nightclub industry, I knew I wanted to do a project that was close to my heart. And at that time, I was a new father. And I noticed there was really nothing out there in the world showing parenting from a male's perspective, a father's perspective. So I did a really cheesy pilot about 15 years ago via phones with different fathers. I had it edited, I put it together, and then obviously that didn't work. So then many years later, when I got out of the nightclub business, I got a crew together, a production crew, director, a whole bunch of cast members, and I filmed a professional pilot. Just to show exactly fatherhood from, different races, different ethnicities, different financial backgrounds, raising their kids, you know what I mean? And some of the struggles that fathers go through, shout out to all the mothers out there as well. But as fathers, I want to give them credit because it's not really shown and it's not really praised as much. So that's the, the thing to me that means the most.
I feel like so often we hear the stories loud and clear about how the dad's like up and leave, I feel like there is very much a negative stigma that surrounds
almost the norm,
right? And it's especially nowadays. I mean, it's like 50% of people end in divorce, and then I'd say a good percentage out of that end up with the kid not having that equal pull of mom and dad. I love that you did that to be able to show and spotlight that. That's
so
great.
I'm still working on it. Everything's done. I have a few talks with a couple networks. Nothing is set in stone. But like I said, I'm trying to bring that for the public so they can see that. And I'm just really excited, and I'm waiting for the right deal. So I have the right team pushing it the right way, so we can really show the fathers in a great way.
Definitely. Well, and that brings me to my final question. Obviously, it's what's next for you. So I'm assuming that obviously that is a really big contender at the forefront of
so I did the book. I want to get the TV show on air. The last big project that I want to do is actually turn my book into a movie.
Wow.
So right now I'm doing speaking gigs, I'm doing book signings, book tours, but I'm trying to get in tune with someone that can help me make it into a movie. And really bring it to life visually.
That'd be great. Yeah.
I'm trying. That's why I'm out here, from Connecticut, but we're out here in LA and Hollywood. Thank you for having me. And just trying to make the book into a movie and then do the TV show. And then that's pretty much it for right now.
Well, I'm an East Coast girl myself, so I know what it's like coming all the way from East Coast over to LA, and I think it's great that you're doing it.
Chasing the dreams, going after it.
As you should. Well, I just want to say congratulations, and thank you so much for speaking with us today. I'd love to give you the opportunity to obviously plug. I know, like you mentioned, you have a book signing, anything like that. I'd love to be able to give you the space to do that.
So first of all, I want to thank my kids. I want to thank my mother. I want to thank God, my team. You can get my book From Orphan to Millionaire online at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, and you can check me out on social media at BigSteveBigMoves.com. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much again for joining us, and thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned with everything that's going on with Big Steve.
Hi, my name is Big Steve, and you've just been buzzed.